Hey guys, it's the Crypto Sniper checking in with you. Have to do a video. I've actually got so many videos that I right now need to do on the crypto space. And there's too many to cover in 1, 2, or even 3 videos. So what have I got to speak to you about? Let's just break them down and I'm going to chunk them down. HEX, Pulse, and PLSX and the SEC. Okay, that's one video. And I'm going to handle that now. I've also got, not too far away, after I've done this one, a video to do on BlackRock, the ETF, what it truly means beneath the cover of that, WorldCoin with that, plus a technical assessment of WorldCoin, which will surprise you, and all of that which it entails and how it is actually the final capture of the mercantilists of something they probably had control over right from the beginning and are initiating the same game plan they initiated against every major since before Christ right the way through to today. You are getting rinse repeated, the same formula every time. And I will identify the hotspots for all of that as to why I say crypto is absolutely captured. And there's a whole bunch of believers, and I'm going to deal with one particular believer right now in terms of a response to a HEX post, but there's all over the place in Maxidom, a number of things that can go wrong for you in video number 2 in terms of long run BlackRock. However, there will be money making opportunities. This is not just a doomster roll and scroll. There will be money making opportunities in all of this, but have no illusion. Your surveillance finance cage is being lowered down. BlackRock is the granddaddy and mega boot that is held on your throat. And I'll be detailing that in maybe video number 2. Video number 3 that I would like to tell you about, that I want to get you excited about, is a shocking opinion on what I actually think is going to come next first for Bitcoin, and may actually surprise you. And this, by the way, is a data-heavy week that is coming, including our live trading day, which will take place on the non-farm payrolls on Friday, which you can be part of, and there's a link and you can attend for. And I expect volatility to return during the course of this week when many have got frustrated in terms of Bitcoin's progress and crypto's general progress, and my shock view to you of what will happen first and in what order. That is video number 3. There's a 4th one, but you know, I can only count to 3, so it's probably dropped off. So let's get on with HEX, Pulse, and everything that's happened. So just while you're looking at the screen now, you'll see that the Securities and Exchange Commission is charging Richard J. Schuler, aka Richard Hart, HEX, Pulse Chain, and PulseX as the complainant versus the defendant. So this is clearly moving on. This is not a particularly big surprise to me. So first of all, a prominent YouTube channel was targeted that was based, I understand, in America, which made it domiciled in America very distinctly under SEC, and that was specifically marketing and saying you should buy HEX, you should buy HEX, advising in terms of HEX investment, something we haven't done. And they got targeted, and I said that is a precursor to further action that will fall. Then there's the framing of people, and this is the culture of positivity. I jumped on a HEX, Richard versus SEC, what do they call it there on Twitter where you show up on your phone? Twitter Spaces, now X Spaces. Who makes any sense of that? Although unless, of course, you're looking at that little TikTok video that showed XLM and the X there, and XRP and the X there, and the funny font that Elon's selected, and his statement, by the way, that he intends to be 50%, he's PayPal guy, don't forget, 50% of financial transactions through the social media. So you're going to have to watch what goes down in that space, credit scoring, payment gateways, and everything coming to the X Twitter, now X, and the 3 X's, and his mum's 3 hearts after the 3 X's, and all the 666 and knock yourself out conspiracy theorist stuff. So there's lots of stuff going down. Let's talk, though, about PulseX, Pulse, and HEX. So here's something we've said in many, many videos when we address this, that Richard, like the man, first of all, never did anything wrong to me. I thanked him for helping me with MetaMask personally, and I interviewed him once. We give people a microphone to talk. We never got it on again, and then it started to get kind of really big. So I did purchase some HEX, which I subsequently sold. I made videos warning as a trader about chart-based things, not promoting, not demoting, warning mostly after the bull move that there was likely to be some major bearish downside. You'll see those videos over here. It's a top. I looked at it as a chartist and said, this is lacking momentum. It's got reversal patterns. We warned at 37.51 and 21 that Hexagon should actually sell their holdings. Now, I got a reply from somebody that I'm going to actually highlight, because it kind of captures also so let's be clear, my positioning is pretty dispassionate, but I'm not a fan of the SEC. And in fact, we just did very well on a positive legal outcome against the SEC on XRP, which my sold pulse at 4 times higher than it is today went into and collected an 80% move. And I've now taken quite some bit off. So I want to highlight that my predisposition is the SEC is obfuscated, is not actually that well run and that targeted. However, it is an incredibly powerful control. It falls under, in my opinion, essentially dotted line 2, the all-conquering king of BlackRock and Larry Fink. And in fact, I will be showing a video when I go into the whole Fink blockchain and all the reasons why it's captured. I'll be showing you somebody else's video that points out that Fink was almost the Democrat Party's treasurer and was going to raise funds for Hillary Clinton had she won, etc., etc. Everything that was supposed to happen for him over there, only Hillary Clinton never won. And of course, Fink is of course a chosen one, has been also has domineering control over the Fed, in my opinion, as well, happens to manage trillions of dollars, I mean absolute trillions. How it hasn't been smashed up as a monopoly, we don't know, but don't forget there's Google, YouTube, Android that never got smashed up. This is the tech oligarchy that we are doing. So anyway, with all of that, you have essentially in Pulse a potential rival to Ethereum. Now, many of you will say, well, it's not the first. Others have tended to have a specific slant that do something different. I mean, ADA is a potential rival to Ethereum, so are others. But Richard went on Coin Go Up, Stake, DeFi, and Coin Go Up. So he went very heavily on DeFi. Now, let's be clear. In an environment where we aren't getting paid, real interest rates on a much higher number of inflation, people that pay higher interest rates on something that retains value is a direct threat. So in many of my reset videos that I did on Odyssey, and even in the odd one or two on crypto, I pointed out that the big threats to the regulatory TradFi world run by BlackRock and all its subservient little statist Federal Reserve, Gainsler, SEC, and all of that, is that you undermine their existing system before they're ready to control demolition it, which is the ability to set interest rates themselves and to see, and also to stable coins. They were deeply concerned about stable coins and DeFi. And then, of course, again, as I'll identify in my third video, one of the key aspects that they are after is knowing the beneficial owner to the absolute sense, right through to why you now have WorldCoin, which will iris scan your eyeball. And it's all in the name of keeping bad malicious bots, mainly created by the same dark state that created ISIS, that creates always the bad guy to necessitate the security option to keep you safe from the bad guy, left hand talk to right hand type way. So this is the big game. So Richard is actually in the scale of that, a very small fish. And the SEC needs to be seen to be punishing those that are non-compliant, where localized guys have got a little rich and a little cocky. And my big thing, and one of the core weapons of the mercantilists, and I did a massive list, and I'll go into it on our third video when I eventually get that out later this week, is the fact that they love conspicuous consumption, and they love the creation of debt and conspicuous consumption and aspiration and greed and all of that. And I didn't like the incessant. I liked it once or twice, someone going and enjoying his money. I've posted on once or twice a picture of a motorcycle or something like that, but not wild Lamboisms and all of this, look at me, I'm rich. And there was too much of that. It started with the watches, the kitsch, rainbow Rolexes and everything. It's amazing to have made money, but the problem you get now is that, okay, where did that money come from? Is that misappropriated on a pump and dump scheme that you've got people to lock? All your sellers have been locked up for ages because you've brain programmed them to lock it away and get an amazing interest rates, and you have to keep bringing in new money to be buyers. Otherwise you get super light volume. It's difficult to maintain that market cap. You have a few guys that haven't done the 4 5s and their stakes are ending and they need some money and it's a bit of hardship and they're selling, and there's a real lack of bid in there. You need new money to keep the exceptionally high market cap rated. And so Richard was a mastermind of market capitalization framing, to the point that he said and trained everybody to say, oh, you're a market cap guy, ha 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 ha, aren't we smarter than you? As if the number of tokens in issuance times by the current price was an absolutely hypothetical, which it is, calculation to do, but didn't have any bearing. Well, in an environment where there's no liquidity, that market cap is much lower than you perceive it to be, and the ability at the margin to keep moving a price requires new money. And it was the notice of this that you could front run his marketing until such time as it showed real reversal, and then you wanted to be out. And so we suggested at the levels 21, 37, and called the top at 51 cents. And we kind of had a playful jibe about that's the real top, not like calling 64 the top when actually it stayed for a few days higher than that at 69, which he likes to claim reference to. And that was the time to get out. The fact that it split into 2 hexes, you find yourself looking at P hex here, and you are 1.38 of a cent after the announcement of this particular event. You've divided your community's resources that you scaled up in half by opening a war on 2 fronts that you need money to go up. So all the fundamentals of market caps always saw these going down after you divided the market. One of them was going to die, or both were going to go substantially down. You're at 1.3 cents. I think you got, if you took the aggregate over this period, it's about 1.8. And if you look at HEX on the HEX on the Ethereum chain, you're at 0.6 of a cent. And that is pretty much our target that we said you would see on the downside with all of this. We said you would run this funnel to the downside. And many people said, oh, I remember you saying it at 8 cents. We said it at this level. We said it at that level. We said it all the way down on this head and shoulder. I can string this one out. It's countlessly repeated in all our videos that this was down. There was another head and shoulders we drew that suggested even at 5 cents, you could still save yourself that you were going to go well below 2 cents at that point. And some people said, you were wrong. It never traded sub 1 cent. It's traded sub 1 cent now. That was what was going to happen. It was always going to happen for us. This just happens to be the fundamental reason, and people will say, oh, but the SEC, it was the SEC that did it. You were provoking them with conspicuous consumption, and I don't want the SEC to win, and I like the man. And he has endeavored to deliver what he's promised as well. My initial tweet was actually funny how they go after this guy when they have Mashinsky, chosen one, SBF, chosen one, And they were never approached with the SEC on their near doings, and they literally stole and defrauded multiple millions and billions. I mean, the largest. I mean, making Bernie Madoff, another chosen one. I'm sorry, I'm a pattern spotter. That also pulled. I mean, he surpassed Bernie Madoff. So it's interesting to see the enforcement went on him. But the problem you see is not recognizing that funding future pandemic support and Democrat candidates is a special stay out of jail free card for almost any crime. And I don't think the guy's going to sit at all for any time. They might try cobble the exchange together. There may be some money returned and it will all be deemed a non-crime. And in actual fact, in my third video, I'll give you a sneak peek, I'm going to highlight how BlackRock has hired this guy of WeWork. Wait for that one, into their realm. That's the guy on this share that I showed you, which said, guys, shares can go down and stay down a very, very long time. And for those in HEX, come on, guys. I was on this call listening to him, and it's all about the positivity. It's the positivity. Each one trying to outdo how this is an amazing marketing opportunity. In fact, even this tweeting guy is going to go, it's an amazing marketing and it's going to be publicity. People do not rush in to buy. The ship is sinking. Oh, can I buy the cargo? Can I buy the cargo? Can I buy shares in the shipping company? The ship is half sinking. It's been bombed. No, can I buy? Can I buy? It's great marketing. All publicity is good publicity. No, there's a certain variety that isn't. And let me tell you how the SEC works. I've read books about people. There was a British marijuana smuggler who ran into millions of marijuana smuggling. All he was doing was essentially smelling and selling grass in the markets. He told it quite clear how the Department of Justice works. They catch you. They physically get you extradited and catch you, even by illegal means, without extradition treaties, however way they can. They take you onto American territory. They throw you in a cell, and they tell a huge long list of crimes they're going to go for you on, and an absolute multitude, and then they start the plea bargaining process. And they say, you can get 5 years and $1 million fine. We know you have the money. Or 10 million, and in Richard's case, it could get pretty steep in the number of millions, especially after you've shown your entire Rolex suite, your lime green AMG Mercedes. They're going to be calculating what those get in the second-hand market, any other assets you bragged about, and never mind a whole bunch more you haven't yet, but you must hold for all the Ethereum you received. And they work out an absolute whopper of a fine that is essentially boondoggle money. Christmas party for the insider cartel, and you go to jail for 5 years, get off 2 if you have good behavior, or you fight us and we drag this case on for 10 or 12 years. Doesn't matter if you're innocent. Doesn't matter if you're innocent. They charged this guy with money laundering, with all sorts of financial things that he was largely not guilty of, but he was guilty of selling large bundles of marijuana on an industrial scale. And many of them he was innocent of, but the case is, we will drag it out, we will hold you, we'll put you under a huge bail, we'll continue to drag it out, it'll go on for 12 years, and unless you've had a business with a business partner that you're 50-50 with and fell out with, and a divorce at the same time, and a couple of other things that I personally have experienced, you do not understand lawyer mania. Let me introduce you to a phrase called lawyer mania, where every piece of correspondence positively frickin' sucks. Every single piece is a violation, an accusation, a never-ending long vitriol pile of serial, pretentious garbage, accusation, counter-accusation, courts, you name it, and lawyers asking for regular top-ups of their retainers and money flying out here, there, and there, costing $2,500 a letter just for a reply, having to dictate, watching them write it up badly, having to rewrite it for them, being charged for the privilege. Today, that letter costs $5,000 in single response. That's without appearing. That's just without appearing. You know, Ripple, the company, have spent $200 million in legal fees with the SEC. Now, let me just tell you that can drag on. And even if they know they're going to lose the case, they will maliciously drag and drag and drag and bleed you out till you do not have another penny. You are forced to concede. This is not about justice. You people are so dumb and so completely clueless. Courts are not about justice. Courts are might is right. Courts are captured. Courts are everything but about justice. Again, in terms of all of this, legalese are created to be proliferated. The law is designed to be an ass, and they then get to choose that which they elect to enforce. So you are all guilty for waking up and getting out of bed in the morning. You are born guilty. But it's just a case of, were you interesting enough to enforce something against? That is how it works in law. And once they decide they want you to plead. And if you don't plead, you are essentially pissing them off, because now they have to do work, and they have hired lawyers from every law school that they pay the same salary whether they're doing work or not. They will tie you up, be incompetent, prosecute badly. This is not about the justice of the case. SEC engagement is not marketing. Listen to me now. It is a freaking disaster. Wake up, you stupid clown. And this is one of the guys that goes, genius of marketing. My God, my God. The best thing that could happen is that Gainsler is thrown out and made so many enemies, and a new broom comes in and clears up the obfuscation he has brought, and they actually become slightly more supportive and afraid that crypto. That's the best hope you could have, and it'll still cost you millions in result for that to come around. So, so this is some of the, this was the response I got. Hilarski, Pulse Mafia. To my comment that a hodl forever maxim is not good for your wealth. Money management means knowing a level you get out, knowing a drawdown that you do not allow, otherwise you are round tripped. Round tripped. You understand round tripped? People, I got in HEX less than a fraction of a cent, paid less than a cent per HEX, around 8/10. And I got out well above that on numerous exits in the range that I have indicated. You have been round tripped on HEX. That is where it is now on EHEX. And you are sub 1 cent. That is cheaper and lower than what I paid. I paid 7/10 and 8/10 and 9/10 of a cent. You have been round tripped on it. And what do you have? You have a bonus token that is worth today 1.3 cents. The summation of 1.3 cents, a long battle, and a distracting, a mental, it's not even the money, the lawyer mania is the mental downer it brings to your jockey that you chose. The mental downer of perpetual dealing with your lawyers who are telling you about the other lawyers, what they are saying, and the absolute draining nature. You do not, Ripple is a big corporation that could spend money, and it was bloody expensive, and they had manpower and they could deal with it, and a CEO can sort of stand back and have the lawyers deal with the obvious. You still have to be engaged. For the PLSX and the HEX environment, this is a freaking disaster. Plus, all the bag holders on the call that I showed up on, this is great marketing. Everybody's now going to know, and the whole crypto world's rallying around you. No, they're not. They're worried about their own coin. Of course, they don't want the SEC to win everything. Of course, crypto benefited with XRP's judge ruling, but Library Coin lost. Nobody cried for Library Coin. LBC. Let me tell you, they didn't have the money. They didn't have the money. So they got crushed. Library Coin runs a rival to YouTube where you can post everything and anything you want, freedom of speech. Guess what? Bought Odyssey, bought by, you guessed it, Google. That's how it happens. You get crushed and it all gets taken across to the other side. It is not good marketing to get an attack dog on your back that has endless resources, that is backed by BlackRock, essentially, and will do BlackRock's bidding, at the same time as it is absolutely beating the crap into all the resources riches can muster for now legalese and other things, and not on development. They will be approving BlackRock for a Bitcoin ETF in due course. Watch and hear me now. BlackRock has applied for 573 ETFs and been declined for one. One decline. I'm guessing they're going to get it through, a 1 in 573 failure rate. I'm just a probability guy. I'm just that trader fool, I didn't believe, I didn't hodl, I didn't bag hold. This is what this guy's comment essentially is. Traders are never a project's friend. Oh, okay. So my liquidity wasn't useful. Let me tell you, buddy, Randy, your liquidity was super useful getting out of Pulse at the top there, my friend. You were as useful as so goddamn useful, bud. I moved those funds into XRP, caught the move from 46 cents to 80. Thank you, bud. I love your liquidity. I hope you were whaling in. They are a parasite. Meet a parasite. I am a bald parasite with gamer glasses that feeds off the work of the community. I fed off the work of the community. I fed off them. How did I feed off them apart from providing some sell and some buy liquidity and actually support the activity on the actual token? I fed off them. I know I'm a reformed parasite. He's bigger now. He's gone from having money management where he says below that line, it's gone too far. I take what I have and I don't get absolutely cleaned out, to being a belief in a cult, a believer in a cult system that has seen a token round trip from under 1 cent and go all the way back down. But don't worry, you got another one that's also done pretty much the same. That the sum total of your two tokens cannot even get you to 2 cents. And it traded 51 cents. And your Pulse token, which, as I say, if you got out on Pulse, and Pulse was my main sack, you did just dandy. You know what? I can go and sell all those ripples, and I can come and whale back into Pulse if I truly want to. But you know what? That don't look like a bottom to me. I'll wait. I'll let you bag hold, Randy. You can hold that bag, bud. You can hold it for me. And just when you're absolutely worn out and need every last little shekel for putting gas in your tank, and it's made a nice little inverted head and shoulders on a fractal at the bottom, maybe this parasite will give you an exit when all your other destroyed buddies without any capital will have no more interest anymore, hearts broken, cult destroyed. The problem was, and I keep reiterating, I came in positively for Richard. I thought the SEC's play has been terrible. But when you get comments like that, it makes me almost want to switch sides. But no, I won't. The SEC is a fool. The SEC is absolutely obfuscated. They're playing a holding game for a much bigger game than Richard, despite his wealth, plays at. This is the BlackRock show. This is the grand capture. This is the fact that this was never your money system, and you thought you could go and create your own money system on their playground just because they pretended that it was not their playground in the beginning. Who do you think's going to end up running that Satoshi wallet? Let me tell you, I've said for years now, BlackRock will, in the name of the best interests, be the vanguard protector of the disappeared Satoshi, Santa Claus for adults. Yep, I'm sitting here and it's so frustrating dealing with people that get captured in belief systems. You have to do what's best for yourself, your family, and your wealth building personally. I remember sitting in a casino just for a bit of fun, and I happened to be in the first box, and I had some guy on the other side saying to me, you have to take a card. If you take a card, it's better for all of us. I said, I came to play for myself. This isn't communism. This isn't solidarity. All those things on this list make uniformity, one for all. Absolute garbage. You can play your hand and I'll play my hand. Thank you very much. That's exactly how it was. And it was just for entertainment. And I preferred to sit in the back of somebody else's box, and I prefer to watch it and just choose when I came in. And you still generally lose despite doing very well on the casino things. But that's what you get. You get this group think, this belief, this positivity. This positivity, I'm just going, you don't understand a regulatory body. Library coin lost. Is the Pulse chain and the HEX community big like Ripple with a 40 billion market cap, or is it Library coin? Well, it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's not Library coin, but Library coin has a heck of an Odyssey site. It's not a nothing business, but that token is smashed and they lost to the SEC and they considered a security. So the notion that SEC only loses, let me tell you, they will strong arm you and string you out. It is not marketing. It is not marketing. And our friend there suggested that it was in one of his replies, and told us what, now we get to see the true fans. This is not a pain contest. It's a hit. You've got to acknowledge it's a hit. This is not a pain contest. Now we get to see, now it's a loyalty thing. Yeah. No, they're vigilant. Now they're out disciplining. Now they're out disciplining anybody who schools them. It's a very sad event. And as I said, the man helped me, and I like him. I think he made a few mistakes. I think the high-profile marketing. Let's be frank. Once everybody's in, and you've got a large part of what they're in for staked, a large percentage, price, volume either dies unless you keep bringing in new buyers. And that requires new money coming in. And when you require new money to come in, it's not like a share or an equity where there are an earnings and a dividend stream that you can price and say it should be here. It doesn't just fall to zero, a share or an equity. It's got an earnings report. That thing's going to throw out a massive dividend. You hang around for another year, it'll throw out another one. So people say, yeah, but you're minting HEX. You're minting a HEX reward, not a dollar reward. And if the HEX goes to zero and everything goes to zero and you're earning 1 million zeros, you're still on zero. That's the problem. And I don't know. This is cultism and belief system, and you should protect your money. You've got to protect your money. Don't ever be the last one to switch the lights out, in my opinion. Don't ever be the one to switch the lights out. We called sub 1 cent, and people said it never made sub 1 cent. To those people, that was on HEX long before, right up top here, and again there, with each funnel running, and the final funnel, we said it would run that funnel, which is 0.7 of a cent. I haven't even come back to take plaudits for calling that. Let me just tell you what a devastation in market cap was called there. And everyone will go, oh, it was easy, you know, there was an extended bear market, and then the SEC came, you got lucky. No, we didn't. We just read the chart, and we said, it's going sub 1 cent. And today, it's sub 1 cent. It happened. And we said the 51 was the high. And we warned you at 37 again. We warned you on this rally again. That's what being a dumb trader is. You could have had 35 times your money getting out up top here at 40 cents. You could have had 35 times your current money. 35 times. You have 1/35. 3%. Bravo for not being a trader, mate. Thank you for the liquidity provision. Okay, I'm done on that. I think Pulse is potentially what's seen as a rival. Anything that comes, they're seeing a developing ecosystem. It's not one they control. They'll crush it. They crushed the man behind eGold. He had an ounce for every dollar he issued online that he made payments for. He ran an absolute legit fully backed system. But you can't run systems in their playground that challenge their right to issuance of money. They are the only ones allowed to perpetuate the true big game of money fraud. Do you not understand that? How many times do I show up on a YouTube, on the Market Sniper and the Crypto Sniper, and say, they will never let you have your own money. They will never let you have your own money. They will never let you have your own basis for money. And you still don't get it. The people still don't get it. Everything that is allowed to serve as any form of money will comply and is captured and held. You will have lots of varieties of money potentially for a while, then they'll consolidate. And BlackRock will own the majority share in all of them, Vanguard, whatever. You will be like Vitalik. You'll have the chosen one professor that's telling you this platform is going to register every property. People are going to declare their value. And when they deem to not declare enough value, there's an automatic NFT purchase that makes that property ours. And we can proliferate that token and buy it off him because he undervalued his property. That is in here. Go and do the search. Go and do the search of property, physical property on the blockchain. Another one of the rules of the mercantilist characters that I'll be doing in the third, they will establish a derivative and proxy. Clay tablets for leaving your gold at the temple, the most beautifully built home where the money lenders were. Remember Jesus and the whip? The Urshui extractors, the gold was left there until they did a rug pull, left with your gold, and you were bankrupt. They inflicted a bankruptcy on you. But in the meantime, they put a derivative proxy between you, a clay tablet. Joe Schmo is owed X amount of gold. And you could trade that. That's a proxy. That is a derivative. That is something that comes in between you and your physical property. Blockchain and the key direction that Fink is taking you in is the digitization of everything, where all your property will be put up there and an NFT token owned, and your bicycle, your car, and your home will end up owned by someone else, and you will be a rentier in a rentier society, because the subscription model is king, and the digitization and the ownership of everything is their strong goal, and you will own nothing and be happy. And if you haven't heard them tell you that, listen to me tell you that, because it's what they've sought to do for generations, and it's what they've actively done. So there is a much bigger bat than all Richard with all his money can muster, and he will be overwhelmed. And it's a sad day because I didn't want it to happen to him. But there's some people with the wrong message out there that are telling you to hold on. And you know what they might be doing? They'll be selling into whatever little liquidity is left, telling you to hold on. That's what's probably going to be going on, because the real smart guys told you long ago, get out, get out. I got out on open on Pulse and PLSX, and I got out near the top on HEX. And I told you 1 cent, sub 1 cent is coming, and it's happened. And now you see it. There it is. And in fact, it was a while ago. I didn't care anymore to do it. There was your 7 cents. We said this funnel will be broke. Go check all the old videos, the same annotation sitting here for the better part of 2 years, my friend. I've scribbled like a child over them for umpteen. So that is a few hard-hitting facts about the way the world works, and the way the SEC works, the way justice works, and the what's coming for you. And you've got to understand, trade something, and have a point where you recognize you're wrong and you get out. Otherwise, you're the last bag holder, and the last bag holder usually gets naught or near to naught. You've heard it from me. If you want to avoid getting absolutely killed on round trips and have a point where you get out and understand risk-reward ratios and trade to the long side from sub 1 cent to something that trades 51 cents, and to ensure that you're out from the 40s, from the 30s and 20s out entirely, that you do not take a 97% destruction down to 3% of your original holding 1/35th, and then arguing on Twitter about being a man and pain contests. Let me tell you, there's money managers and there's machismo. That they don't go together. You decide which. Till next time, I'm the Market Sniper, the Crypto Sniper. You click the link below and you'll get to hear how you should be managing your money, how you come away wealthier and stronger, how you do not submit your higher executive center to any jockey and leader. You trust in price behavior. The money flows is the truth. Everything else is deception, is cultism, is beliefism. It is everything else. Words I do not want to have in my lexicon. Till next time, I salute you and say goodbye.